Hello and welcome back. This is Grillenheimer. I was sitting here working, listening to talk radio, and then a commercial came on for the My Pillow. And ever since I actually saw the guy on his box with his pillow and hugging does he not look like a little like Frank Welker, maybe when he was younger, with his big old bushy mustache? That's all I can think of is Frank Welker when I see that guy now. But I was okay now. And y'all know I like Transformers and the brand, the characters. Grew up on the G1 cartoon. Beast Wars came out when I was just out of college. I'd gotten all out of the toys. Finally was growing up, and all of a sudden Beast Wars brought me back into it all. Being young at heart, I guess, is supposed to be a good thing. But it keeps the mind sharp and creative in a way. But I did a video. I was in my car. It was very random. And I should not have tagged anything on the front of that. I wish I could go back, download it, and take off that front half that I recorded down in my dungeon. Because I was half asleep. I looked like I was dead on my feet when I videoed the front of that. I just should have just left it. And I'm doing voices in the car, and took my kids to school. I was coming back home to work, and I started doing some of those voices again, and realized that I can't do Optimus. I just can't do. I cannot sound like Peter Cullen. But Ironhide was one of my favorites. And if I talk out to the side of my mouth a little bit, and try to talk like my deceased grandfather, I sound a little like Ironhide. And I might actually give him a perk for Focus Fires, because Focus Fires is just fun to say with a southern accent. Focus Fires. Optimus, get out your Focus Fires, because we're going to get ready with it, probably with a new stratagem with Focus Fires. I don't know. But I don't really sound like Ironhide, but it's pretty close, and I'm Southern, and I don't. That's why I liked Ironhide. He was one of the few with a Southern accent, and I'm like, cool. And a lot of us were, Dukes of Hazzard was big with a lot of people in the 80s, not just us Southerners, but with a lot of people, and mainly because of Daisy. Now, getting back to voice acting and stuff, is that I can do a pretty good, decent G1 Megatron, and I actually got to thinking, how dare you try to even mock me with your words? That, that does put it's a strain on my throat. That they've really changed his voice over the years. His voice on Netflix just seems, I can't even drop my voice that low. It's like the voice actor's trying to be Hugo Weaving, who did his voice in some of the live action movies, which was okay. I mean, it was Megatron, but I don't know. He's supposed to be like a maniacal kind of person. And even Voldemort, when Rowling wrote Voldemort, he was supposed to have this high-pitched, really annoying, squeaky voice when he would, laugh and get, agitated. And it made me think of that kind of villain, like Megatron. It may have been sort of being portrayed. There's that chipmunk again. In a way. Gosh, where was I going with this? With old mullet head, that, and how they keep trying to make his voice lower and lower and lower and more evil, and to me that's not the embodiment of evil. Just because we want to over dramatize his voice to make him more evil, because we have to sound just so evil, it seems silly to me. And that's what made some of the original G1 voices just that iconic. And it wasn't just the voice actors themselves who we just loved We didn't know. I didn't know who those people are. I didn't look at the credits at the end of a cartoon when I was a preteen or teenager. I just enjoyed the show. I didn't realize Peter Cullen did the voice of Optimus and Ironhide. So at the beginning of the movie, he was talking by himself. I had no idea. But that's what it was like in the 80s. Or with me anyway. But, with that in mind, I really wish that we could have more that maniacal Megatron kind of voice, that he's always in a strain and he's always thinking and always is planning in his mind, Prime, I'll be back for you, or something, always sounding kind of stressed out instead of, we're right back, more like, the Megatron from Beast Wars, yes, which he was awesome. David Kaye was he was the new Megatron. Whether you were a truck not monkey or you just loved Beast Wars, David Kaye was the new Megatron, and he was amazing. And then they flipped him, and he did an Optimus and animated and whatnot. Gosh, those guys are just so talented. But again, I don't know. Just wanted to just sort of talk about the voice acting a little bit, and on my ride home, I got to thinking, I can do, if I smile real big and talk out the top of my, I'm not doing very very well now, talk out the top of my voice, out the roof of my mouth. Then now I sound a little like Hound. Hey, I'll sniff him out, Prime. But if I open up really loosen up back here, and try to really drop my voice just a little bit, I sound a little more like Mirage. Hey, Spike, look what I can do. A little more of that upper crust kind of, I'm better than you. That kind of that Thurston Howell the Third kind of feel to Mirage, even though he was not that type of personality. It was just his voice. And a lot we can do with a voice, which helps mold the personality. But at the same time, it's I don't know. Some about those voices were just so iconic. And I enjoyed the Netflix show. I'm looking forward to, almost said Earthlink, Earthrise, and yeah, I wish the voices were different. I think we all do. Some of them did. There's a few voices that were like, wow, that's pretty close. And I understand a lot of those guys, are deceased from the 80s. I mean, whether it's this new virus or pneumonia or mono or bronchitis or whatever, dementia, TB is kind of still, you can still get tuberculosis to some extent, or what. I mean, we all pass away. And it's what we do with our life is what's important. Learning to be selfless and less selfish. And that's basically kind of what I'm doing with the card game, is I'm creating stuff for y'all if you even like what I'm doing, if you want to use what I'm doing. If you don't, that's fine too. It's just sort of, I just want to be part of the community. And I've had a passion for Transformers. I've liked it for, for not 40 years, but more like 37 years. No, not 37. Yeah, more like 34, 35 years ish. So I guess I just told you how old I am. So I'm pretty sure I'm few years older than most of the guys in Wreck and Rule. Definitely older. Maybe. I'm not sure about Nick with Blues on Attack. He looks like he could be the oldest over there across the pond. But I'm up there. But I just been listening to the soundtrack because it's Christmas time. It's December. And I was really trying to find, because I did that video about A Star to Follow, and I was trying to find my Christmas music. And I couldn't find it. And I found the Transformers the soundtrack with the 3 extra tracks that Vince DiCola put on there, or 4 actually. It's got 14 tracks. It's got the original soundtrack and then 4 extra tracks. And that has a lot of the incidental music put together, which just sounds wonderful. That music never gets old. It just does not get old. But I need to get back to work. But I just like talking about this stuff. So with that, thanks for watching. More to come. I do have a game that I recorded. It's one game. It's almost 50 minutes long. I'm getting tired of editing it. I may just delete it and just do another one and not talk through it, because that's one of my main things is I guess I just like talking. I don't like the sound of my voice. I just like talking. Is that a sin? But I might try to do another game, because I played one again with the same setup last night and the other side won, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is doable. So maybe later today I'll do it again, and I'll just not talk, or talk very little, and get things going quicker. And we'll see and go from there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And as always,
flip out and let's roll for it. Wait, no, I'm not Prime.